Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always is Eric, Nathaniel, and Robert. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Going great.
Yeah, it's going good. And I don't know what it's like there. It's only been like 120 degrees. And,
It's been a cool 95 or so here.
The surface of the sun.
It is miserable. It is just absolutely miserable. I'm ready for winter. I'm not ready for snow. I'm ready for winter.
It's like in the 80s
No.
here. It's
Nope.
going to get hot again. Though.
I don't care for heat.
I mean, the heat's bad enough, but then it's also like rained not like a week ago, so there's still all the humidity from the ground.
We haven't had
in your
any.
face.
We haven't had a whole lot of rain. We had a lot of humidity. We had a fire in town today. The Riverboat Museum caught on fire downtown, so that was fun because it was a 6-alarm fire. So there were 6 different fire stations here fighting it. So
Is it all on like an old riverboat?
no,
Like
it's in
parts
a,
of
it's just in an old building, and they have a lot of Riverboat stuff in it, like old stuff. So
Yeah.
But so
They say-
I'm sure that was fun for all those firefighters in the 100-degree weather out there trying to put a fire out. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Jeez.
I mean, the fire's gonna make it hot no matter what it is outside, but
Yeah.
you're not gonna get any relief getting away from the fire.
No.
It's hot.
Especially with all
Although
that
they-
stuff they wear. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, thank you. But
Well insulated.
yeah, well, that's very important. I mean,
Yeah.
but still a shame, big old building like that, But that's all right. I mean, it happens. It sucks, but oh well. But anyway, we're not here to talk about depressing things. Not yet, anyway. I mean, I'm sure there may be some depressing things in the news. I don't know. There's
There's always something.
there always seems to be some kind of sucks. Oh, what a sucky story that one is.
What is
but-
this? Video games disinvented? No.
No, but well, anyway, we'll talk about what we've been playing since the last couple recordings we did. We just strictly talked about E3 stuff, so kind of took a couple episode off just to kind of relax and step back from E3 and actually have some time to play some games and things like that. And plus, this is episode 150, so we've got tons of
Celebration.
yeah, we have tons of Steam codes to give away and things like that. And anything that we don't give away during the live stream, we're going to do a Gleam contest that I'll talk about at the end of the show. And there'll be some other stuff in that too. So if you're not watching us live, you will still be able to, enter in something to win some Steam games. And maybe, I think Eric said he was going to donate a $20 card of whatever your choice is. PSN,
Yeah, gaming currency, whatever you play.
gaming currency of your choice, and stuff like
Olive
that.
Garden?
So, Olive Garden?
Olive Garden. No iTunes.
I mean, I don't know. I guess you could play some kind of game at Olive Garden. I don't know.
How many breadsticks can you eat in
Yeah.
the city?
How much wine can I drink? I can drink this many. Oh, it's like,
This
It's the
many.
game genre called Endless Pasta Bowl.
yeah.
Whoa. My stomach hurts. Well,
Yeah, really. I'm so full. So, but anyway, no, we'll talk about what we've been playing, things like that. Who wants to go first? Does anybody want to go first? Doesn't matter.
I have the most stuff.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter how much stuff you have. I finally started playing Assassin's Creed Origins a couple of weeks ago. I think I'm about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours in. I'm not very deep. What's funny
that's
is
a long one.
That is a big freaking game. I still
Yeah.
haven't finished it.
well, what's funny is that I started watching it or playing it, and I played the first area for like 3 or 4 hours, and then once when I went to Alexandria, all of a sudden I went, oh, well, that was just the beginning of the game. I mean, I did all the little missions in there and all the side quests and did all the exploring and everything. It was like,
Yeah,
okay.
The little desert mini village that you start in isn't very big.
No.
And then you're like, oh, here's the big Assassin's Creed city I was expecting somewhere.
Well, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go in there and everything like that, because, I'm going to do everything while I'm here because I don't know if I'll need to come back. And I was like, oh, well, spent 2.5, 3 hours in one area. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then I get to the next area. I'm like, oh, well, here's the title screen now. Geez, that.
Yeah, it's a very, very late, logo that pops up in that game, depending on how you play it.
It
You
was
could
like,
certainly push through a lot quicker than that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, if I'd have realized it, I probably would have pushed through it a little faster. But it was like, well, I'll take my time. And
One of the cool things about Origins, though, is it does have that variety. So if you want to do a bunch of city stuff for a while, you can do missions in the city. If you want to go back out and more of the countryside stuff, you can do that.
And do the
If
hunting
you just want to
missions.
go hunt hippos because they're mean and just go shoot them in the face a lot, you can do that.
Yeah, but it's a very, very different style of combat from all the other Assassin's Creeds, which, I mean, I like that.
It's much more of a RPG in the sense that you upgrade your skills and you get more powerful as you level up, way more than the other Assassin's Creed games didn't really do that.
Right.
I remember when people were first talking about it, there was a lot of comparison between like the Souls combat and stuff like that. Did you get any of those vibes?
I don't remember hearing that.
Really, I don't. It didn't
Is that
feel.
just because everything gets compared to Dark Souls these days?
I guess I don't know. It doesn't feel very Dark Soulish to me in any way, shape, or form. I didn't think.
I mean, it is. If I remember right, you do have attack on the shoulder buttons, right? So
yeah, I mean that's.
Of course, that means it's like Dark Souls because it's on the shoulder buttons. Like,
I mean, I guess you could say that. I mean, if you look at it that way, I mean, if people are looking at it that way, then sure.
It depends on how you play it, and early on, it could be. I could see how you could think it'd be a little bit more like Souls because you don't have any of the other power-ups or extra moves yet, and you're relying a lot on your shield to kind of help you out, and then you can block and then attack. But later on, you get way more powerful stuff that it's not like Souls at all.
Yeah, I didn't think it was much like Souls, but I mean, so far I'm enjoying it. I like the combat. I think a lot better. I like the RPG elements about it a lot better.
Have you done anything of like what I did a few times early on and just fly the eagle around to look at stuff?
Yeah, yeah, I did. That's what I think that's one of the reasons why I took so long in the first area.
You don't have to climb up to the tall buildings to get a bird's eye view. You just hit a button.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, there they are. But yeah, it took me a little while to get used to it because the controls are inverted for the flight. So, I was going...
Oh, that's just how I play all my games.
Yeah, I need to change that. I don't like that. If I go up, I want to point up. If I go down, I want to point down. I don't like it the other way around. I don't like it.
Inverted for everything is what I do.
Yep, same here.
Can't do it.
Vertically, not
horizontal.
I can't do it. It's got to.
Unless the game engine itself is weird and horizontal is backwards from what it's supposed to be, but no.
Yeah.
Leave horizontal alone and then inverted on the vertical. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, I mean, I like it so far. It's pretty interesting. It's not a lot of.
Have you gone far enough in Alexandria to have the Falakis, I think they're called, be introduced?
I literally just walked into town, met the girl, and that's it. I haven't done it. That's where I stopped.
If you do a few more missions, they'll show up. But yeah, they're really cool, but very scary early in the game because they're basically hunting you. Because they're kind of like bounty hunters looking for you because of something you do on a story mission. Some, rich evil guy sends them out after you. So they're in a bunch of different zones, and they're all way higher level than you when you start out. So it's kind of the thing you can back to fight them later. Because if they find you, you're run away. You're gonna be quickly.
Well, and that's
if you're a level 5 dude fighting a level 20 dude, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I wondered, if I rode all the way through that one town and everything, and went straight to Alexandria. It's like I didn't know whether to go start in Alexandria, maybe go back to the other town. I didn't really look and see what level everything was at.
Yeah, honestly, just wander around, especially in Alexandria. You're going to get a ton of side quests.
Yeah, there's
a ton of main missions go through there, and then you'll go move on to other cities and other villages. So just hey, I'm in the mood to do this. It's very much a game like that. It's like, oh, I'm in the mood to do this now. Just there's so much stuff. It's not really paying to go I should finish everything here before I move on because you'll probably be back.
Yeah, there was a crap ton of stuff popped up on the map as soon as I walked in. Alexandria was like, holy crap! Oh, there's so much to do. So, but yeah, I haven't played it in about a week. I need to pick it back up again.
The cool thing that I like is there's other fairly big cities. Alexandria is still the biggest, but there's some others that are also fairly big, and they all have a different feel to them.
Yeah.
The architecture is a little bit different. One's based around this cool river that's curving through it, and another one's different.
Yeah.
So it doesn't all feel exactly the same, which was pretty nice.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. I also got my copy of Thimbleweed Park in from Limited Run Games the other day, so I popped it in and played it a little bit. It's actually a pretty cool game if you like those old LucasArts style point and click games with the dry, silly humor. It's actually a pretty good game.
Is this the one Ron Gilbert did?
Maybe.
The game designer guy?
I don't know.
I think so.
I think
Alright.
so. I didn't pay that close
It's in my head
attention
for
to
some
it.
reason, but it could have been another one that came out about the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember
Park.
there was some kind of thing about it, hubbub about it when it came out originally, but it's been so long ago that I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those games that went on my, way too long wish list of, I want to play this eventually, that may or may not happen.
yeah, well, and if it hadn't have, I've been waiting for it because I knew Limited Run was going to do a physical release of it, so I waited to get it on the Switch with the physical release, and I played a little bit of it. It's pretty cool. It's very pointy, clicky, story driven. Click pick up and then go over and click the thing you want them to pick up, and then it picks it up, and it's got the touch. You could do it with the touch too, which is kind of cool. So kind of makes it a little easier because you actually can touch. So to say point and click, you can actually point and click. So it's kind of different, but it's a pretty cool game. The other game that I've been playing a lot of is Hollow Knight on the Switch, and I remember you talked a lot about it when you first got it on PC or something like that. So
Yeah, I got a PC earlier in the year, I think.
yeah, I remember you talking about it, and I've been waiting for it, and it finally came out on Switch. So I wondered if you picked it up too, and then I saw you said
Oh, yeah, I
something
did.
about it on Twitter the other day, so I didn't know if
I
it was.
had a trip out of town. I was like, oh, an excuse to buy Hollow Knight and play it while I'm
Yeah.
traveling.
Man, that game is really, really good.
This
It's
is a
hard.
Shovel Knight, right? Shovel Knight type game. Is that what this is?
No.
No?
It's-
Shovel Knight is more of a platformer. This is more of a Metroidvania style game.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
Metroidvania
With a little bit
with,
of Souls vibe, but with bugs. So it has a little bit of Souls tone to how it does the storytelling. It's like, mysterious. You have to go explore.
yeah.
And each area you don't have a map for to start with until you find this special, cartographer bug. You can buy a map from them.
Yeah.
But you get all sorts of different upgrades and things as you go through the game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's hard. It gets very, very hard as you go along with it. At least I thought it did.
How far in have you gotten?
I'm probably, I don't know, three hours in. I couldn't tell you how far in I am on
have
it.
you done
I
any
really don't
boss
know.
fights yet?
Yes, that's the first one was just, and it was one of those things where I walked in and didn't realize what it was, and I went, oh, I gotta go. Pump, I'm dead. Oh, okay.
I got
The other thing is they have some that are actual boss fights, but then they also have sort of encounter rooms too that you'll
Yeah.
get in there where it's like, oh, here's some groups of enemies. You do a few of them, and then the doors unlock. So it has kind of both things in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like it, and I remember you talked a lot about it, when you were
So-
playing it on PC. So.
I've gotten much further on here than I got on PC.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah, because I played a ton of it in handheld mode while I was on my trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Makes
quite
sense.
a week that I was gone. But it was like, oh, I'll have some time. I'll play Hollow Knight for an hour. Or I'm sitting in the airport. I'll play some Hollow Knight. And that game is amazing. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
My favorite area is, so far anyways, I forget what it's called, but it's like a mushroom kind of style area where there's a bunch of mushrooms everywhere and all the enemies are kind of fungus sort of related.
Yeah.
But they have it switches it up. They have these weird purple, bright purple mushroom things that when you land on them, you bounce a little bit and you have to hit them with your sword in order to jump. So it totally makes navigating feel a lot different than the other areas just by default because you're not hitting the jump button to jump
Right.
off of them. And it has some really cool kind of navigation, not really puzzles, but just kind of cool rooms you have to get through.
So I mean, it's no different. I was going to say which one do you like better, but I guess it's really not that big of a difference of a game to say, oh, I like it better on the Switch. I mean, or on the
it's the
PC.
same. Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
probably
played it
the
a little
same
bit on
thing.
the TV too, which is nice. It looks really good there too.
See, I haven't played it in dock mode yet. I've only played it in handheld upstairs, so I hadn't docked it yet. So
Yeah, it's good both ways. It was good when I was playing it on PC. It's just a really, really good game no matter where you're playing it.
yeah, cool. Well, yeah, I'm glad you got it. I figured you would, because as much as you talked about it,
So yeah, I'm way further than you. So when you first start and you get to that little village, they're talking about, and there's little mentions in some of the like item descriptions of like this city that you're trying to get to. That's kind of in the center or whatever. I've actually made it there, and it's really cool because it seems kind of like a almost Castlevania feel because you're kind of going through this ruined castle.
Yeah.
As far as just what the environment looks like, and it has some way harder enemies in there.
I'm sure.
I've upgraded my sword. Well, it's technically a nail, I think, that you have, but I've upgraded it once, which makes things a lot better. And apparently, if I find some special item somewhere, I can upgrade it again.
Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, I need
I've
to.
got maybe a third of all the little upgrade. I forget what they're called now, but the little things that you slot in, the not emblems, but like the things that give you your different abilities.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've even gotten any 3 to 4 hours in. At this point, you might have gotten 1 or 2.
Maybe I don't remember.
The very first one you can get from one of the stores inside the village that will let you see where you're at on the map.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's all sorts of different things, and they take up different slots. You only have like so many slots that you can fit these things in, so you have to switch them in and out, like change your loadout at the little save benches. And so you can get things like, hey, you have better armor, or hey, you have some extra health, or your sword is slightly longer with your slash, things that are helpful, but you can't put all of them on at once. You have to pick which ones are good. It's like, oh, hey, you get slightly more invulnerability time when you get hit.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of different ones. I've only got about a third of them. There's a lot of different things that you can find.
Yeah.
Apparently, so.
Yeah, I really need to sit down and play it.
Very deep game.
Deep. Yeah, I haven't gotten too deep into it because the trouble is every time I turn around and start to get deep in it, it's like, well, I need to finish playing this for a review, or I need to finish playing that game for a review, or now this game's coming out. And here we are in July, so next week, I think it's next week or the week after next, 2 weeks from now, Octopath comes out, and there's like 2 or 3 other games that come out, so it's like, crap, if I'm going to get deep into it, I need to get deep into it now because something else is going to take my attention and it's just going to get buried into the
And then here comes the
in
fall.
the backlog again.
Here's the secret. Do it because Hollow Knight, I'm going to go on a limb here and say Hollow Knight is probably a better game than Octopath.
I don't know.
They're completely different
They're
kinds
complete
of
games,
games, for sure.
so, but I mean.
But Hollow Knight is one of those, like, games that come out and is kind of special.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay, this doesn't come out all the time. They
Right.
all across the board did really well with that game. The cool thing with the Switch version, too, is it's all, like, the most up-to-date version with all the extra content in it.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. I was really hoping that Limited Run or somebody was going to do a physical release of it, but they didn't. Or if they are, they didn't announce it yet. Maybe next year, but that would be cool. I'd like to see a physical of it just because it's such a cool game and it sold so well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big enough game before it even got to Switch that it would be a candidate for it for sure.
Yeah.
You'd think, oh yeah, if anything came, that one would.
Yeah, and maybe they will. Yeah, maybe they will next year or something like that. I don't know, but what else have you been playing, Nathaniel?
Let's see.
While we were talking about Hollow Knight, you might as well go ahead and talk about what else you've been playing.
Sure. So I played through The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit this weekend, which is the free prequel episode to Life is Strange 2.
I have it downloaded. I haven't played it yet.
It's really, really, really good.
That's what everybody says.
I mean, it's definitely that Life is Strange vibe where you have a bit of the kind of whimsy to it, but then also, oh, hey, we're going to punch you in your emotional guts. Just like, oh, man, I was having fun, and now I'm bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
I think I've spent probably about 2 hours with it. It's not very long, but you play as this little kid, like 10-year-old kid, I think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a Saturday or something, and it's the winter, so you got a lot of snow outside, so you run around doing a bunch of different things. You have kind of like a little page, I guess, that you get a bit out of the way in that tells you, hey, here's all the cool things you can do, like go defeat this thing, go defeat the water eater.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it is just running around inside and outside of your house doing these things. And then very few of the kind of fantasy sequences, which they played up a whole lot in the trailer, that made you think a different tone, as at least I expected something different than what it actually is. It's actually a lot closer to what Life is Strange is. as far as the storytelling style and all that.
Oh, that's
It's a lot of
cool.
picking up items, reading descriptions, then the voiceover sometimes will comment on what you're looking at. Very, same style of thing. It's not all like, hey, I'm running into my imagination all the time. It's very much, that's like maybe 5 or 10% of the whole thing.
Yeah, cool. I've heard a lot
can
of
play
good
with
things
your,
about
You can
it.
play with your toys,
Man, who doesn't like playing with toys?
It's true.
So that was really cool. I've played a bunch more of Vampire, however you say
Yes.
it. Don't nod vampire game.
And I hear it's good too.
Yeah, like I can see some of the complaints that the reviews mentioned with like there's little bits of polish here and there that it could have had, but it's a really interesting game and it has a lot of cool things about it that's like, oh, that's neat. I wonder why no one else has really done it this way. So the cool thing that once you get past sort of the intro of the, oh no, I'm a vampire now, what's going on, kind of just drops you into it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Once you end up the character you're playing is a doctor who's come back from like World War One. This is like right after World War One time, and there's like the Spanish flu is going through London, so it's all very much and it's always at night, so it's very dark. A lot of times it's rainy or foggy, and it's just like plays into that tone of like I think a lot of like Penny Dreadful, a lot of it.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you've ever seen that show,
Yeah.
it's very similar vibes. Probably even similar time period. I forget what that show was supposedly set in, but very similar kind of just like dark, creepy monsters around any corner kind of stuff when you're wandering around. But you have a lot of cool stuff with the conversation system in that game. So every person that you can talk to, you can ask them personal questions or questions about like what's going on in the area or just London in general.
Yeah.
And then sometimes in conversations you'll unlock a little thing of like, here's a hint is what they call them. I think the more of like maybe clues, like if this were a mystery, which it's not exactly that, but like you discover some sort of thing about a person, or that person will tell you something that will have a thing about another person, that then you can use that and it unlocks a thing that you can like, hey, I heard this about you, blah blah blah, tell me. And you can also use your vampire mesmerize powers to force people to talk about something they might not want to. And there's all sorts of other different stuff. There's people, like the people sometimes are diseased, so they'll have like a cold, or they'll have fatigue, they'll have any number of things, and you can craft stuff to heal them. So each person is worth so much XP. And the more important they are, the more XP they're worth if you kill them. So it's all this balancing act of, do you want to kill the people and get a ton of XP so that you can upgrade all of your powers?
Oh, sure.
Or do you want to not kill them and like keep the different districts stable? Because the more you kill, the district itself goes downhill until when it reaches a certain point, then it's just chaos and there's a lot more enemies around and all that. I've been playing kind of the good guy route, or at least the I'm not killing everyone route. But if you did that way, you wouldn't want to necessarily kill someone right away, because the more of these little clues that you unlock about each person, they're worth more XP.
Yeah.
So if you go through some of the little side quests or anything and then make them fill their bar all the way up and then kill them, they're worth more. Which is kind of interesting. The story so far is pretty cool, because like the guy's trying to figure out, well, what happened to me? Who was it that turned me into a vampire? How did I get this way? So that's kind of the central mystery that they're setting up for the main quest. And then a lot of the more important NPCs that you talk to will have some sort of weird side quests tied into them. They're like, hey, there was something weird going on over there. Would you check it out? Or just a bunch of different stuff.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Spend a lot of time in like this really crappy rundown hospital in the middle of like this. Cause I don't know, I haven't been to... I've probably been in maybe lower half or lower third of the map so far, so I don't know if there's any like nicer areas of town they let you get to, because it's all very slums and run down and kind of abandoned because everyone's scared of the flu and the monsters on the street. Yeah, it's a very cool game if you like that sort of. It's a very cool game if you kind of vampire stories and playing around with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's really cool. You get all sorts of different vampire like powers you can unlock and things with your upgrade tree. So you can upgrade like your health and your regeneration and how much health you get when you bite something during combat, and then also different active abilities like a lunging claw attack or a shield and different stuff that you can unlock and do depending on what kind of play style.
What is the closest thing it reminds you of? Like, can you think of any other game that like it's really close to?
I mean, it's kind of open world, although if you have to kind of go out of your way to do that, like you can, but it's all like, hey, go here, go here. All these little side quests. Hey, go here, go close to where you're at least so far for me.
Now it's
but you can just like go way over here and just do whatever you want on this direction and pursue something else if you want to. But I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Nothing comes to mind. Another modern game that's close to it, or something. Last generation, maybe.
No, nothing like immediately because it's pulls stuff from a bunch of sort of different things a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll keep.
But
my
it's
eye
very
on it.
much an RPG where a lot of the time I've spent is talking to people, and then there's some, there's a fair amount of combat too. So, but the combat isn't anything super special. It's fine, and it's kind of fun, but it's not quite as, at least so far, quite as deep as they make it seem. So enemies have some resistances and all this, but it doesn't really come into play. I'm still hitting them with my same few attacks, and I don't have to switch things up. Even though I have a bunch of different weapons, I've only been using this cool sword that I have. Like, whatever, I'll claw you in the face, and then I'll stun you, and then I'll bite you to get some of my... Blood in this game is basically your mana for, like, magic powers.
Gotcha.
Because you're like filling that up, and then you can use that to heal yourself. You can use that to do other abilities, all based on kind of that. So,
Cool.
and then you have you have a stamina meter, so you can't just like hack and slash the whole way through. You can do like 3 or 4 or 5 attacks depending on what your weapon is. If it's a heavier weapon, you can do less. So it does sort of come into play, but it's not so dependent on these things that you can't just play it like an action game.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Well, that's cool. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and it kind of came out at a good time when there wasn't like, it was kind of in between God of War and the other things. So,
what is the other Don't Nod game they did before Life is Strange that was a action game? Remember Me.
Oh yeah.
Some of it feels like the combat feels a little bit like Remember
That's an
Me.
interesting game.
It's like if they made Remember Me into more of an open world rather than a linear game, polished it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then also made it
Remember Me was
a
a
lot
French
more
game, too.
RPG where you can just talk to people. It's not like just straight running.
Yeah, Remember Me
Yeah.
was
that game
interesting.
was.
I kind of
Remember
like
Me was
that
good. I
game.
liked it.
Yeah, it had a unique feel to it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, but if you like sort of, it doesn't really feel like Life is Strange or anything like that, but it does have pretty good writing as far as the characters you're talking to and all that.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
if you're interested in it at all, or you just like kind of that weird, dark vampire, type of story, go ahead and play it. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Robert, what have you been playing? Looks like you've been playing a lot of one certain game.
Yeah, so if you were with us for our post E3 show, everyone knows that I was super stoked for Devil May Cry 5 being announced. So I've gone back through and replayed through most of the franchise so far. I knocked out Devil May Cry 1, the HD remake on PS4, in about 4 hours, and I don't remember it being that short. Apparently that muscle memory kicked right in. Knocked right through it. I skipped 2 and jumped right into 3. And that one's a lot longer than I remember it being. That one took me about 15 hours and completed it up maybe 3 or 4 days ago. And I'm now halfway through Devil May Cry 4.
Now, why did you skip 2? Did you just not like 2 as much?
Well,
or?
2 is not that great, but I want to play it at the end because canonically it takes place at the very end of the franchise.
Right.
So I'm going to do that, and I didn't want it to interfere with the kind of way everything evolves combat-wise throughout the games. 3 definitely was a big leap forward from 1, and 2 is just kind of like this weird in-between thing where you can just gun spam your way through the whole thing, so it just wouldn't have made sense to throw in between. I didn't want to lose my groove. which was good because 3 is definitely the hardest in the series
Yeah.
by far so far. I have also been dipping my toes into Fortnite on the Switch. I had it on the PS4, and I didn't really play it too much, but being able to play it on the go as well as on the big screen, it's just made it so much easier. And just a preview into a little bit later, with Sony, they have not made my life easy. Let me tell you, I basically have made the Switch version now my main version. I've already taken off my PS4 from my Twitch Prime account, so now I'm getting all my Prime goodies on my Switch copy going forward.
Yeah. Too bad you can't
and-
pick those back up that you had before.
Yeah, how about
We'll
that?
talk. We'll talk more about that.
We'll get into that.
I figure that's going to have a nice long discussion. So I say that's why I saved it for last. But yeah,
That's right. And Fallout Shelter, I didn't actually play this when it came out back in the day on mobile and Steam and all that. So when it came out, I started playing it on. Well, when it came out on Switch, I started playing it on mobile first because I wasn't home. And then when I got home, I was like, I think I'd like this on the big screen or bigger screen of the Switch.
Yeah.
And I started getting into it, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not going to stick with it. I have my happiness maxed out. It's at 100. All my resources are good. I feel pretty good about what I've done so far. But it's getting to a point now where it's dragging and
Yeah.
Did you find you had to sit and wait a lot?
yes, and it's that's the worst part. It is like it's a
Very
time
much a
waster
timer
within a
based
time waster.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
seems
like,
like
I
slower
can't
to
do
me
that.
than when I was playing it on my phone. On my phone, it was like boom, boom, and then on
Yeah.
this, I'm like, well,
Yeah,
I
it's
played it
taken
on a
forever.
play something else.
Yeah.
If they let me transfer my data between mobile and Switch, then I'd probably continue playing it. But
And-
as it is right now, I just can't see myself picking it up
Yeah.
Yeah.
after
glad
the
it
next
was
couple
free.
days.
And I mean, for
Yeah.
me, I was like, I thought there was a way to speed things up, so I was Googling things. I was like,
Well, you can rush within each
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
it felt faster on my phone. Or maybe because I'd go do other stuff on my phone and leave it running. and
I
then
could have
pop back
swore
and
they
be
had
like,
a.
oh, cool.
I could have swore they had a speed up and a slow speed up thing. but
Yeah, I thought they had one that would advance everything, like
If it
advance
Not
the
everything,
day.
no.
Yeah.
Now, I did notice that if I put my Switch to sleep, like just push the little button on top, whenever I'd go back to it, it seemed like everything kind of like popped up.
Yeah, it
But
kind of.
I'm not going to
Like
just
run
keep
in the background.
finagling with it. Yeah.
Yeah. What you're
It
saying
was
is,
not a free to play like mobile game.
I
It
can play
is.
golf
It works
story.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't free to play, then you probably would have a global time adjustment.
Well,
speed
that
up or
yeah,
slow
Yeah.
down, right?
that may be
Yeah.
true.
But because it's not that
Take
kind of
your
game,
money
it's free to play, and they gotta
and
have
your
those
eShop
hooks.
credits.
But
You
it's,
gotta
I
be
mean,
patient
even
and buy the things.
even the waiting aside, like I haven't played it that long. I've put maybe 5 hours into it,
It's
and
about how much played.
I have a good amount of the things unlocked already. And there's really just no challenge anymore. All my stuff is all the my electricity, my water, and
See, you're
my-
doing a great
whatever the other
job.
one
I'm
is.
still kind of like stuck a little bit. I'm like, oh man, stupid controls.
Well, I mean, it's touch controls like it was on the phone.
Yeah, and that's great. And I tried using I use the Joy-Cons. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna use the touch screen.
No, it's way better with the touchscreen. With
Yeah.
that being said, it is not as responsive as it was on my phone.
Yeah,
Like
and
clicking and dragging people, I am so frustrated. It just does not want to know that I'm.
yeah,
Well,
and sometimes
right.
that's why I go back to using the Joy-Cons. It's weird. I'm glad I downloaded it. What kind
And I
of?
wonder if that's
Yeah.
a switch screen thing, or if that's just they haven't like tweaked the game.
I don't know. I mean,
kinda
the,
weird.
It's not like we know it's not a resource problem because the Switch is plenty.
Oh
Powerful.
yeah, it's
What we
way
should
more
do
powerful than my phone.
it's just it feels
I
like
should-
it's like
I
it's
should
lagging.
fire it up on
the screen is
PS4,
lagging a little bit.
and we should see what it's like on PS4. And if it's the same sort of thing, then maybe some sort of like
Well, but in PS4 you
trying
wouldn't
from?
get that because you can't touch your TV screen
Yeah.
and drag it over. That's the.
come on.
Someone's getting up
Hello?
there and pushing.
Why can't I get this to work? What's going on?
You can use the touchpad. So I don't know. We'll see.
I got someone on my friends list. They put like 65 hours into the Switch version already, and I was just like, it's not that fun. I mean, it's
Nah.
fun, but it's not.
I don't even think I put in that
Like
much.
Golf Story.
I don't think I even put that much time in
I got
on,
stuck
piece,
on my
the
phone where
No.
I had a really big vault with a ton of stuff going on. It was just too much work for me to go in there and collect everything. In the end, I was like, I'll just let it do
Well,
it.
I was getting to the point where like I had a lot of my things expanded out, so they were really big compartments. and I have like had like 19 people, and I can fit 28, I think, and nobody was coming to my vault, and I was just like, well, we're gonna go ahead and make some babies, and now I gotta wait 3 hours for all these babies to be born.
Man,
but
3
I have, like,
hours
6
for a baby to be born? What a bunch of
I know,
bull crap.
but that's real world time. I'm not gonna waste 6 hours to go back to a time waster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I got 6 babies on the way, but
do we know if
I'm thinking
it
about
doesn't run in the background, obviously, because you have to close out of it to get into another game. My
well,
thing
it sort
is,
of does.
the
When I
clock
had
will
my
advance,
person out
right?
in the say again.
The clock will advance. So let's say you fire up Golf Story, play for a couple hours, come back, turn on Fallout Shelter. Will your guy,
Yeah.
like you were saying, advance
Probably.
in the wasteland?
Yeah, my guy in the
So-
wasteland advanced and died while I was away.
Oh, okay.
Well,
See,
that happened to me overnight. I got back in, and he'd been out there for 6 hours, and I was like, I'm great, he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to revive him somehow. They didn't really explain that to me, but he's alive, and I
they
got
don't
all
need
those
to.
stuff
Little credits
now,
out in the
so-
wasteland, and he gets back up. Hey,
no big deal.
Yeah,
We're all
I
fine.
don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
all good.
I think they made it harder
freebie.
too, because I'm definitely not seeing as much credits come in. So it's been a couple years since I
Maybe you
played.
Well,
picked
and
the
that's
wrong
just
guy
it.
in the wrong place.
Well,
Maybe
that
I
could
just
be too.
suck.
Yeah, that sounds like a you problem.
Well, and I haven't played it since it first came out on the iPhone. So
Stupid Rush, come on.
I haven't. I don't know what they changed in it, what they hadn't changed. So
I don't think it's worth revisiting. I was looking through like all the late game stuff, and I was like, none of this really matters. Like, why are there 4 different types of recreations?
Yeah. And the quests sound interesting, but then I'm like, people go away.
Yeah. But
yeah, you send people away, and then your resources drop, and you're like, whatever.
what was it? I've downloaded Fortnite on my Switch. I haven't played it yet. I literally got all my stuff from Twitch Prime and got my account set up on there because that was a nightmare because I had to do all the the 2-factor authentication because every day, 3 times a day, I was getting freaking emails from Epic going, "Here's your code to reset your password." Well, guess what? That's
no.
not me. It's so
Not me.
Once I finally, so now that I've done 2-factor and I actually started. Actually logged in on the Switch, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, nobody's going to bother trying to get your account.
It was a
anymore. It's all
nightmare
okay.
getting my Twitch unlinked from my PlayStation account. Like, I just kept clicking it, and it said that it was good, and then I'd go to log in, and it's like, oh, you're logged in on another account. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not. I promise you,
It
I'm
must
not.
have just been taking time between
Yeah.
point A and point B. It was just a long time, but that's a whole nother. We'll get into that in a little.
Speaking of Twitch Prime, if you do have Amazon Prime, we can sign
Yes.
up for Twitch Prime through the Gamers Lounge and give us your money. Might
Yeah.
as well give it to somebody.
Yeah,
So
it's free.
hey,
Why not?
here we are.
It's free. Why not? It's free money. So, but yeah, but I definitely need to try some Fortnite. I know my wife teaches 3rd grade, and all the 3rd graders are loving the Fortnite because they are always asking. They're always asking her, going, "Hey, do you play
Loving the
Fortnite?" The one cool thing that I do like about Fortnite on the Switch is you don't have to use that stupid app to chat with people.
Yeah,
You
they're
just
doing
plug your
some
headset
cool
in,
stuff.
and it just bypasses it. It's like, hey, if you guys
Yeah,
can figure it out, why
I
can't
logged in for the first time. I'm like, why do I hear all these kids? Where is this chat coming
Yeah.
from? I do not have this headset. How do I turn this off? And I'm pushing buttons. And I'm
Why
like,
do I hear all these kids saying the F word? What's up with that?
Why is someone talking about my mom?
Yeah.
I don't get this.
Fortnite, right?
That
You're
was the
saying Fortnite?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was. What was hilarious was there was a video out 2 days after everybody figured out that you could just plug a headset in and you could hear people. What's hilarious about it is you can if you do the screen capture and do the 30-second video, it captures the voice chat too. So people were recording little kids, cussing at other people, and then going, "Why are you cussing?" "Oh, I want to cuss, but my mama won't let me." It was like, oh, hilarious! You could just, you could capture it with the footage and stuff through the Switch. It's like, man,
I would love to get a community Fortnite thing set up.
yeah, it would be cool because I like to say I have never played it before in my life, so I would be terrible at it. So the more help I would have, the better.
So there has been some word that they're going to be finally bringing back the training zone area thing.
Oh,
And that's
that'd
what
be
I
cool.
need because I can't build for anything. I mean, I
Yeah.
can go in and shoot stuff.
That's-
I've won one time, and that was in the
Yeah.
squads thing, and I was like, well, I was dead, but my squad won, so I gotta win.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
played-
it's still on my account.
Yeah.
I still
That was
haven't
on my
played the
Switch
Battle
account.
Royale,
So.
but
What?
I played the what are they calling it now? The Save the World or whatever when it came out.
Yeah.
I practice building there if I want to, but I don't care about the Battle Royale, so I just haven't bothered playing it.
Yeah.
But someone did try and take my account because I had to do the two-factor authentication a few months ago too.
Yep, I did it just so they would quit. I just ignored it. Like,
Yeah.
go ahead, because my password is something crazy. I don't care what in the world you try, you're not going to get it. You're just not going to get it.
It's
You
cocktail
just said it. It's
waitress.
something crazy. Now.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. But finally it was like, fine. I'm tired of getting all the emails. I'll just do the two-factor. And then for like the first 3 weeks, it was like, here's your code for your two-factor authentication. Gosh dang it! If it's not one email, it's another. It's like,
The worst thing is when it's like, why can't you send it on a timely manner?
oh my gosh, yeah. It's like, why don't people just leave it alone? But they finally apparently have given up because I haven't got any kind of emails for a while from them. But of course, I had forgotten my email, so I had to make it my password. So I had to make it another crazy password again. So now I've actually had to write it down because I won't remember it. Because it's something I don't use for anything. So it's like, if I don't use it at least for one other thing, I never remember passwords. So I don't know. But that whole Fortnite thing is insane. When people trying to hack your account and stuff, it doesn't even make sense.
It's a free-to-play game, guys.
Yeah, it's probably.
If they saw you in game and saw you had a bunch of cool stuff that they don't want to buy, then tried to get your account, then maybe.
Well, that's the funny thing is I had nothing. I never played it. I just had an
Yeah.
Epic account. It was just like
Yep.
it wasn't even. Didn't even have a Fortnite account, or never even played Fortnite. I just had an Epic account for. I think it was when they gave away Shadow Complex. Yeah,
Yep, that's when I started
Hmm.
mine because that's their little fishing to get people in it to start with.
yeah. Well, it
Now they
worked.
don't have to care because they've got Fortnite.
Yeah,
so
now they
everyone's
have
on there.
the biggest game ever. So Eric, what have
Exciting.
you been playing?
Well, let's see. It's been a while since I've been on a show. I mean, I was on the last one, but we talked about E3 stuff. So I've been playing
Right.
lots of stuff. So much stuff that I went back and looked at my list and went, yeah, it was like 2 months ago. So I'll just do the stuff from the last month or so. So everybody likes a story. So on Friday morning, I went and looked for Nintendo Classic. Back that up. Thursday night, I just ordered 2 online. So
Yeah.
I did
Dude,
go
the
look
guy
for
at this local GameStop was like basically begging me to go home with a classic. They must have been like
Yeah.
threatening these guys.
Well,
We need to
let
get
me-
rid of this today.
let me-
controllers.
Let me tell you what
The
the
controllers-
way it was around here. They had we went into Walmart at 10 o'clock Friday night, so it'd been out since midnight the night before. They still had like 18 of them in the case,
Yeah.
and people were buying them. I can't imagine how many each store had. Each store must have had in GameStop's, Best Buys, all of them must have had in the 30s at launch. They had
this
to. have
dude
had.
straight up went in the back room while I was browsing, grabbed one off the shelf, and was like trying to get me to hold it. And I was like,
this.
"Bro, I already got one."
I was supposed
I
to
was
say.
like, I got the real system too. And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah."
He's like, wait, there's another Nintendo? You're like,
He was like,
Uh,
"Which one do you like better?" I'm like, "Well, I've never actually used my classic. It just looks nice on the shelf." So what does
I've
that
never,
say?
mine's not even out of the box. I mean, mine's
so
over
the
there.
controllers, but you're right, yeah, the controllers seem to be the thing that we're going this time because
Those
people
were
needed
always
the
super
extras.
rare.
Well,
But-
when they came out the first time, literally, GameStop would get 6
$60
controllers. Yeah, well, GameStop
and like
would get
9
si-
consoles.
Yeah, would get 6 consoles and 1 controller when they first came out. Because when I was in New Jersey and got mine, they had literally had 1 controller, and the first guy in
Yep.
line was like, "I'll take it." But I don't know. I like the 8-bit do anyway.
Yeah, I'm
so
just gonna get one of those.
that's what I go with.
GameStop does have a wireless controller for $15. It's like it's okay.
Don't.
Don't
Yeah,
do
see
it.
that face
Don't
up
do
there?
it.
I think my local buddy at GameStop, he's like, yeah, these kind of suck, dude. It's like,
Yeah,
you
don't
probably
do
don't
it.
want
What
them.
was it? The yoke?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
that
do
was
it.
no. Don't
Yeah,
do
those
the
kind of suck, man. You really want one? He's like trying to tell me you don't want it because the guy behind you doesn't know anything and he'll buy 2.
Yeah, don't buy the yoke. I was
Anyway.
going to buy one. It'd be what was the one that I reviewed? It was
The 8-bit do, right?
well, I did I personally bought the 8-bit do, but somebody sent us one.
Yeah, the 8-bit do. 8-bit do has a new one coming out in August. $25. Works for the classic.
Yeah, I can't remember what the what it was. At Games, maybe? I think it was At Games. It was an At Games controller.
Well,
it was actually a pretty good controller, but I don't remember how much it was. It was 2 years ago
I'll have to
now.
go.
So
I'll dig it around. I'll see
check
if
the
I can find
review. There's a link to Amazon in there. So with it, but anyway.
But anyway, yeah. So I went by Target and Best Buy, and there wasn't any line. But I didn't want to go. I'd already gotten mine, but I was curious. I need to go to GameStop, get a couple things anyway, pick up a couple things I'd ordered. And so I went there anyway. But I was thinking at Best Buy, it'd be like last time where there'd be a long line, them giving out tickets and making you stand in line for 3 hours. I was like, not gonna go there.
Yeah.
Besides, Best Buy annoys me greatly.
No, apparently
anyway.
Best Buy just had them out. I saw pictures of Best Buys. They had like 30 of them just out on
still
tables.
Plenty in stock
so.
at like Walmart and things like that. If you're looking for them, you can definitely get it.
Yeah.
I got two, one for me and one for a guy that can't make it to the store. So
Well, what was
They
funny
don't do a
was
good job of advertising these things. They told us like the day before, like you need to tell people a week in advance to
yeah.
well,
get the
if
line
you
there, you know.
if you follow Nintendo online or on Twitter or Facebook, they announced it 2 weeks ago that they were going to be out the 29th, and then
But the people
GameStop the week
that are following on
before.
Twitter probably already have one.
Well, that's true, but I mean and then GameStop announced and sent out new emails a week before and said they'd have them the 29th, and they would have them day one, and they would have da. So, I mean, my thing is scalpers are still trying to get $150 out of them, and I'm like, you're crazy, because you can walk into any Walmart and find them, or any GameStop and find them. My buddy that lives here, I totally forgot to tell him that morning, hey, because he wanted one years ago, and I went. It was like he came over like 3 o'clock. I went, oh, by the way, you might stop at GameStop when you're running over. I think they got NES Classics in. He was like, oh yeah, they had like 7 or 8 of them. It was like 5 o'clock in the evening. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you so late, but it still worked out. I'd have felt bad if they'd have been sold out, but.
So that controller you're talking about, that was the My Arcade gameplay.
Yeah.
Gamepad
Okay. There
Classic.
we go.
I found it.
Yeah. I was gonna say I knew it was
Yeah,
something
dig
like
too
that. It's not too.
check it
It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. It's
So,
cheaper than the 8-bit do. I recommend the 8-bit do if you want to spend the money, but
Yeah. Then I can use it on multiple systems.
Well, yeah, you can use it on anything
One of the ones with
Bluetooth.
the extra analog sticks.
Yeah.
It is. But anyway, so when I went to Seattle Retro Gaming Expo a couple weeks ago, I don't think I talked about that on the E3 show, but pretty smaller than Portland Retro Gaming Expo. Still pretty cool. Costs about the same. I would recommend it, but I when I went over there, I took my PS2, a couple of my Dreamcast games. So my brother and I played some Twisted Metal Black and some Resident Evil 4. Man, Resident Evil 4 on like a 50-inch flat screen with like AV cables for PS2. I was like, yeah.
Bet your eyes
But
hurt.
it was, it was still fun. Twisted Metal was still good. Let's see. And then for Dreamcast, we fired up Power Stone 2. And
Yeah,
beat the
no
socks
Power
off
Stone
it.
1.
Oh, I like both games. And then, we also played some Burnout 2 and 3. I also brought my original Xbox and played Burnout 2 and 3 on that. And that's always good. But I've been playing some other stuff. Played some Ghost
Tell me
Recon
about
Wild.
Axiom Verge.
I will. I'm getting that. Getting there. We'll do the boring stuff first. And
I got a copy of
that,
Axiom Verge over there in the
bet you do.
box. I got the collector's edition over there, or whatever it's called.
The Multiverse Edition?
Yeah.
I've
It's got a Blu-ray with the making. That thing's got more stuff in it than I've ever seen. In a
that Steelbook edition, too, from Game Trust, the GameStop used to carry. That one's pretty cool, too. You get a soundtrack, a digital copy of the game, and a copy of the game on the disc.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that one, it's got like a poster, a map, a
goodies.
Blu-ray
Good luck
behind the
finding
scenes.
it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't seen not the one from not the Steelbook one, but the Multiverse one. I looked for the Switch version a couple different places in there. Yeah, it's good luck.
I had no idea. I bought it when it launched, but I think I got mine from. Actually, I didn't. I bought it around when it launched. I think I bought it from Target.
Smart man.
That's weird.
Anyway, so on PS4, played some Wildlands and some Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. I like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 better, but I got both those games on sale like a couple months ago for like $20 both. And I was like,
Is it? I heard they're not as good as the original releases, or at least they weren't.
yeah, I mean, I used to have 2 on PS3, and I always it felt like it played better on PS3. I mean, it plays okay on PS4, but I was like, it feels kind of fun.
I have it on
Maybe
360, and
Maybe it's just the game and the way it plays and the controls and.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let's see. I did pick up Lollipop Chainsaw. I'm a big fan of Pseudo 51's game. Grasshopper.
I don't know about that one.
Played some Lollipop Chainsaw, and I will say, as someone who has Killer 7 on the way, that Lollipop Chainsaw, it's okay, but I like Killer is Dead and Shadows of the Dam better.
Yeah, I didn't.
Lollipop Chainsaw is very button mashy, gimmicky, and after about like an hour, I was like, well, it wasn't $10.
Yeah, it wasn't that
I
great.
hear you. Yeah.
I remember when it came out and we were all excited. I was working at GameStop and we were like, yeah, we get it home and it's like,
Cheerleader cuts things with zombies and does
it's like, it's okay. It's all right.
And I mentioned earlier, played some Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
But I also played, I'm going to slaughter this, Milanoir,
maybe?
Milanoir.
Yeah, so that's a game we got for review, and the review's almost done. But it is, it's kind of like it's a 2D platformer meets kind of something top-down view like Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
So the controls are okay, but the gameplay is pretty repetitive.
It's kind of like set in the 70s or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
70-ish.
it's a gangster game, and it is punishingly difficult, and that's what a lot of other reviews had said. That's what I discovered after about 5 hours in. I was like, man, these boss fights are a lot harder than they should be, and lots of other reviewers griped about that too.
That stinks. I don't like it when they're punishingly hard. So
I'm like, come on, and I'm like, maybe I suck, but I was like, well, no, because I beat the first couple bosses, okay, so I don't totally suck.
Like, punishing hard can be fine, but unfair is what's...
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's no way to skip it. But anyway, yes, so Axiom Verge. While I was over visiting family this weekend, I went to a GameStop I've never been to, took advantage of the buy two, get one sale, picked up some stuff, blah, 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 and they had this for Switch. And I said, I will take that. Because I've been wanting to get it for a while, and I was just going to buy, and I saw that after I bought it, that it was on sale on the eShop for $15. I was like, I'd rather have a physical copy.
Yeah, I don't mind paying a little extra to have a cart.
Took it home, plugged it in, and went, I should have bought this sooner. It's pretty dang good. It runs. I haven't played on any of the other platforms, but it runs fantastic.
I really wanted to get it, but I knew that I wasn't going to keep my Vita, so I was like, I'll just wait and see. And I really need to pick it up on the Switch.
Yeah, it is very fun to play.
It's perfect.
There's a little bit of a story to it. There's lots of cool things to blow up and shoot. And lots of different
one
weapons.
guy made it. One guy.
Yeah,
that's
that
what's
was
so
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Graphics
he did
are
everything.
good. I was like, dang, this is the kind of... And I was like, oh, I can't get there. But, about half an hour later, I was like, I bet I can go back to that spot I couldn't get to. Yep. So...
Yep.
So
and it doesn't drain your Switch's battery.
Yeah,
it's not
it is. It's very,
it's not like playing, if you play Super Mario Odyssey or Zelda, your Switch, works a little bit harder. Axiom Verge, your Switch doesn't have to work very hard.
Yeah. It's more...
Any sprite-based games like that, it's going to be handled pretty well.
It's basically
Conserve
Super
that battery.
Metroid.
Yeah, it's more Metroid than it
Okay,
is anything. Yeah, I mean it's
fun.
If you would slap Samus in it and say, "Hey, this is a new Metroid game," you would say, "Yep, it is." I mean, it's that.
Yeah.
It's just like
So
that.
I remember people saying about it, and I just hadn't gotten around to playing it.
It's worth it. It's worth a pickup. And like I say, it's really nice to play on the Switch with it being portable and everything. Yeah, and the Vita too. Anything like that. I mean, I think I have a copy of it on the Vita. I don't know how I got a copy of it on the Vita. Was it a PlayStation Plus game at one time, maybe, or something? Maybe I'm just remembering.
I don't think it was a PlayStation Plus.
I don't remember.
I don't think so either. Did it come on the Vita first before it came to the other stuff?
Maybe it did.
Vita
Maybe
and PlayStation at the same time, I believe.
Maybe I bought it there.
It might be
this
easier
was
to
before
find
the
the
Switch
multiverse.
even
It's
came out.
definitely
for
on
the Vita.
Steam as well, pretty early.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was
Steam, I
before
think,
those,
yeah.
but-
Target has the multiverse edition for PS4. It's $30
Yeah.
online, but it's
Got
the
those sweet
PS4
bonuses,
version.
so maybe go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Lots of stuff. Good
Yeah.
times. I was debating between taking them. My wife was like, you could take one of your systems this weekend because we're going to be really busy. And I was like, all right, 3DS XL or Switch. I'm like, I'll take the Switch.
Well,
I got a
Good
backlog on both that are plenty, so
yeah.
I was glad I took the Switch. Good times.
Good times.
And now I got Axiom Verge, so expect more talk about it.
There you go.
That's it.
All right, cool. Well, let's get into the news. We have a couple of kind of interesting stories to talk about. One thing that came out earlier this week, that GameStop is in talks with with private equity firms about a potential transaction of buyout interests. Well, nobody has said who is interested in buying them out. Don't know if it's another chain, if it's a private company, if it's this or that or that or this or this person or who knows. So it's kind of an interesting thing because we really don't know what may come of it. If
Maybe
it's
nothing.
Yeah, maybe nothing. It may just be a company that buys GameStop and just keeps going with GameStop like it's going now.
From whichever end started it, either GameStop putting feelers out or somebody putting feelers out to GameStop saying, hey, is this something that we could do and maybe make some money? Yes or no? Who knows? Yeah, let's talk.
For all we know, it's just a publicity stunt. So we know their stocks raised the second this started happening.
Could be.
Which is silly.
I still know quite a few people working at GameStop, and I was asking them about it, and their opinion was that this isn't going to be something that happens very quickly.
Oh, no. None of this stuff usually is.
Yeah.
It's not surprising, especially since they still have an interim CEO after all the shenanigans that went down with the CEO, stepping down after, a month or so?
3 months. He was only there 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's super interesting. They definitely need to find a way to, diversify and find their place in the new gaming landscape.
I could tell you the easiest way to find a place in your gaming landscape, in the current gaming landscape, and that is close some of your stores. You don't need stores that are within a mile of each other. You just don't. I mean, that was the one thing that I never understood. I worked for Funco Land right when GameStop bought them. They were still technically Funco Land, but they were merging over to GameStop. And then, there was Babbage's and stuff still there. And when they bought them, they kept all those stores in the area, just named them GameStop. So literally in one plaza, there was 2 stores right across the way from each other. And it was
not an isolated thing either.
No.
When you think about it,
Yeah.
there aren't that many stores nationwide. There's like 4,000, I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just in Greensboro, when I was at, there was 6 stores within 3 miles of each other. That's crazy. I mean, you have one at the mall, you have one at this one. They didn't need that many of them.
I think I have 4 within 20 minutes of me.
Yeah. I mean,
there's 5 stores.
And I got in a big, long discussion with somebody on Twitter about it. They're like, good, I hope GameStop dies and burns. They need to go away, and somebody else will take their place, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's quite right.
No.
I know
I don't think that would even happen, because if
I don't
GameStop
either.
Does, I don't think someone would take their place.
I don't either.
Because to start
GameStop goes away, then we got to go shop at Best Buy.
No. Well, this is the thing. And anybody that listens to this show for any amount of time knows I live in a very rural community now. I mean, we're very small, and for the longest time, if you needed to go to GameStop, Babbage's, or whatever, it was a 50-mile drive. Sometime, I don't remember how long ago it was, 5 or 6 years ago, GameStop actually put a store over in our plaza. So we actually have one within, 5 minutes, which is the closest one after that is 50 miles. If GameStop would shut down and close down, the only place here locally that you would have to go buy video games is Walmart, and they are terrible about
come on, you love going there to buy games.
No, I don't like going to Walmart to buy anything. The only reason I went to even Walmart the other day was because I got in on their price mistake on those stupid Joy-Con controllers and got them for $25 when they should have been $60. But I came out better. So, but my whole point is I don't shop at GameStop very much anyway. I do most of my stuff from Amazon because to me, I would just soon get it sent to the house and not worry about it than actually go to the store and get it. I can wait a day or two. Or, if I'm buying it, I'm pre-ordering it from Amazon because I get my 20% off and it gets delivered to my house for free the day of launch, so I don't worry about it. But there are people who rely on GameStop to buy games, especially around here, and trade games, and sell games for cash, and this and that, and that and this. My thing is I understand people's hate with GameStop. I get it. I know they rip people off and blah 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 blah. But I'm sorry, I work for a mom and pop store. They rip off everybody just as much as GameStop does. Don't kid yourself and
Yeah.
think that they don't.
You don't have to sell your games there.
No, you don't have to, but don't.
But at least with a mom and pop, you're getting ripped off by a small mom and pop that will help
guess,
them out
yeah.
versus
Not
a
a
giant corporation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but
And-
everyone's taking
But
their
even still,
taking
yeah.
their aggression out on the store clerks that are just doing their job.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
those,
it's not
those
them.
guys got those jobs because they love games and they thought
Yeah.
that'd be a good fit. But no, then they got stuck selling things that they don't want to sell, and then you're giving them crap
Yeah.
for it.
Right. I mean, I don't know, but my thing is it would not surprise me if somebody, some private company or something, buys GameStop and trims the fat, closes a bunch of stores, and they're still going to be all right. They have their online. They're still going to have 2 or 3 stores in a town. They don't need 6 or 7. You just don't need that many. It's you just don't need that many.
Spread it out somewhere else.
Yeah,
man.
spread it out somewhere else, or maybe plug a Think Geek store in that you could just get that kind of stuff, in a mall instead of having a GameStop or whatever. I mean, I remember the first time when they first switched over to GameStop. In one mall there was 3 GameStops, and this little mall that we have had 3 GameStops. They finally closed 2 of them down. But I mean, at one time there was 3 GameStops in this mall, and the mall's not that big, I mean, it's like, and it stayed that way for like a year, and I'm like, how are all these stores making any money? It just doesn't even make sense. I don't know. I think that's what GameStop needs is somebody to buy them out. They are almost a company that just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just trying to find their foot in an ever-changing industry.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and they're. But I hear, I read something the other day that GameStop was going to start selling comic books. That ain't going to do anything for the
They've been
business.
selling comic books,
Yeah,
just so
and-
people know.
Yeah, well, I mean, but
It's not new.
big deal. I mean, what are you going to make of that? Nothing. I mean, comic book stores close up all the time, the mom and pop ones, because they can't make money selling comics. So, anybody really think that that's going to make that big of a difference on the front end of GameStop? No. I mean, it'll bring people in the door, I guess, maybe. But those people that would go to GameStop anyway to buy comic books probably already go to GameStop to buy games anyhow. So,
Yeah.
Put in a Starbucks counter. There you go.
there you go. It's all done.
Would you like your latest copy of Fortnite 4 and your large Frappuccino? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Get me in there.
I don't know. It's a very weird thing. It'll be interesting to see, but it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. Those, even if they
Yeah.
were in the process of doing all this stuff, it takes
It
years.
seems
to
like
happen.
one of those things that would happen quite a bit where no one ever hears about it for whatever reason. This time it leaked out that somebody's talking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing with Hollywood. Is like, these 2 people had a meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Get good. So
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. It's weird.
Tell me when there's any actual info.
Yeah, really. But I tell you what, boy, the YouTubers have really made the money this week on it because
Gotta get
it's-
them clicks. get
oh
them
my
views.
gosh, every video has been GameStop's going under, and this is why it's a great thing for
Game's tossed in
everybody.
a dumpster fire. I
Yeah,
know.
it's like, oh my gosh, just let it go.
He'd sell boys and girls.
Yeah, really. Flip Grip Kickstarter started. It's actually a week old now. For those who don't know, some of your Switch games you could play in vertical mode. Like the Namco collection, you can play like the Pac-Man and Galaga and stuff. Any of your shoot 'em up games, they all can be flipped. Not Mike Tyson's, the Punch Out game in the Arcade Classic, it actually plays better vertical because you have a top and a bottom to it. So what this is a grip that you could turn your Switch 90 degrees, plug it in, and have the controllers on the side and play it in handheld mode, but click 90 degrees. It kind of, I don't want to say it came from out of nowhere. One of the Retronaut guys is the one who designed it or helped design it and is behind it. And he was the one who was promoting it since like March. He's had this idea. And I remember seeing it a couple of weeks ago going, oh man, that would be so awesome to have something like that. And then like 3 days later, the Kickstarter came out. So it's the simplest Kickstarter I've ever seen in my life. It's $15 if you want one. It's $24 if you want 2, and that's it. There's no other perks. There's no nothing. This is
because it's
what you get.
basically just a
It's just
fancy piece of plastic
Yep.
that holds all the things together.
Yep. So their goal was $42,000, and they hit that goal in less than 24 hours. Now they're up to about $109,000 with like almost 6,500 backers. So this is really cool if you like those arcade style games and you want to play them in the long the long way. And I pre-ordered one, or I
Yeah, if I had a
got
bunch
one
of those
mail.
games, I would
Yeah,
definitely
so
be interested.
yeah,
in
the
this
Retronauts
stuff.
guy that's behind it is Jeremy Parrott.
Thank you. Yeah, I can never keep all
Could
those
be
guys
cool.
straight.
I know. It's cool. I think I don't know. I might be interested in, even though I don't really have much portable games to really use.
I have a couple, but that was the whole reason why I didn't buy Punch-Out. I really wanted to buy the arcade version of Punch-Out, but to play it like this, it's like, man, you got all this stuff. And to play it vertical and with handheld mode or tabletop mode, you have to get your stand, kick it up on the side, and everything like that. And yeah, I mean, with shipping, it's $15. It's $3
Is
shipping.
it a good deal?
I think so, because I think
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good thing.
because I know exactly what's going to happen. I hope that he has a exclusive patent on this, because in probably about 3 months, everybody's going to have some kind of version of this. But it's, if you play those kind of games and you want to play them in handheld mode, it is just the coolest way to do it. And it works out really good. And this looks really cool because it still keeps that form factor of the handheld Switch. So you got 7 days from today. This is Sunday, so you won't get the audio till tomorrow. So it'll be 6 days when you get it tomorrow. But if you're interested in something like that, you definitely want to back it. Bethesda is suing Warner Brothers for a blatant ripoff of Fallout Shelter. Has anybody played the Westworld game that came out? I have not played it.
I got an email about it, and that was after I saw the stories about this.
Oh, I got an email about it beforehand, and I was like,
I got the email after.
We've watched maybe the first couple of episodes of season 1 of Westworld, so we don't have Yeah, it was really good.
But
we don't have HBO,
play
so
this game.
yeah. So apparently it's pretty much almost exactly like Fallout Shelter, except it's Westworld, is my understanding
the
of
thing
It's
that
kinda
makes
funny.
it even crazier is that the development studio is the one who made Fallout Shelter with Bethesda.
Whoa!
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Is why this is a thing.
yeah. That's the big thing. So it'll be
Even
interesting.
if they didn't do anything wrong, it's still pretty much Warner Brothers saying, "Hey, come make Fallout Shelter for us with our IP." That's pretty much what they do.
Pretty much.
Well, Warner Brothers has also issued a statement saying that they would definitely not have somebody do that. And even if somebody did do that, that's on the development team themselves.
Yeah.
And the development team has reassured them that they did not steal the code. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, George, did you steal something? No. All right, we can write this little
Nope.
release now.
I didn't steal anything.
Just push it off to the side. Where you're at.
Yeah, it's all good. They won't notice. Nobody notices things like
Even
that.
if they didn't steal a thing, it's still one of the rampant clones of a popular thing on mobile platforms.
Well,
Except
yeah.
it's just a big company doing it.
I guess that's the big difference. It's like, this is nothing new. I mean, why? Well, should Bethesda really be surprised?
Well,
by
that's the
this?
thing that's new is like Bethesda probably thinks they could get some money out of it, so they figured it was worth doing the lawsuit. Whereas if it's just some small nobody who does a really crappy knockoff that no one's going to play, you're not going to sue them because it'll just die on its own.
Exactly. Do you think they have any precedents? I mean, do you think they're going to get any money out of it? Do you think?
Oh, I don't know. This is one of those things where we don't know the actual details, but from the outside, there certainly is a little bit of a stink here, or at least it seems like it from the outside. So
I'm going to download this game. I want to see how close it really is.
Yeah, I haven't downloaded it, so. But report back.
I will.
Robert doing that crack investigative reporting.
it's just as
Correct.
slow as Fallout Shelter, and you have to wait.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's like I fell asleep waiting for everything to refresh.
Now, if I have to wait 3 hours for a baby to be born, then we know.
We're gonna have a problem.
All right, well, at least you don't have to wait like 9 months or even 6.
Right.
I mean, jeez. Hollow Knight sells over 250,000 copies on the Switch in its first 2 weeks. That is pretty good.
Congratulations.
I mean, it's a really good game that is got a good reputation before Switch, and then you have plenty of people who are like, I was waiting to get it on the Switch, and then they did.
That was me. I was
Or me, who had it elsewhere and then bought it on the Switch too.
the minute they announced it on the Nintendo Direct or something, I think is where they announced it, and it goes, and it's available later today. And I went, yay!
Rumor is a physical version's coming too for PS4 and Switch.
They said, we knew Hollow Knight was coming to Switch for a long time, so.
Physical
It's just a
version.
matter of when, and it finally came.
Well, and that's like I said at the beginning of the show when we were talking. I said I'm really surprised that Limited Run didn't announce that they were doing a game,
knows?
a physical
They still
version.
Well,
got
maybe
time.
it's because they're doing their own physical release.
Well, that could be too, and a lot of companies are kind of doing that now, especially on the Switch because they sell physical copies sell real well. So, Owlboy was like that. They did a physical release of it. They did it themselves. So, I waited for the physical release of it too, which is a really good game, which I need to get back into.
Yeah. I must be the opposite of you guys because I don't really care for the most part if I have a cart or not, as long as I have enough memory on my SD card.
Oh, I mean, I don't.
Well,
I mean, it kind of
Especially for smaller games like that. But yeah, there's a few that might be, oh yeah, it'd be nice.
it's not so much
Not
that
a deal breaker for me.
Well, it's not a deal breaker to me. It's I like to collect for the Switch. For some reason, I really like to
Yeah.
collect for the Switch. I don't know why. I think it's because it's cool because the boxes are neat and the cards are little tiny things and
take up less space.
take up less space. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you don't buy them, they take up even less space.
Well, I know that's true, but the bad thing is like I got that review code for Ease, and that thing took up like 14 gigs, and then I've got LA Noire, which is on a cart, but still takes up 14 gigs. So it's like, well, there's 30 gigs almost right there. It's like, yeah, if I can get it on a card, I'm going to get it on a
games that
card.
take up a big chunk. Most of the stuff I've gotten from the eShop is all the smaller things.
Yeah, but
Hollow Knight is probably the biggest one, and it's still not too bad for the
Yeah.
size and type of game it is.
I mean, if you knock out those two, I think the biggest one is like 6 gigs, 6 gigs or below. But all the rest of them, it's just that's the other thing too is Nikki has a Switch, so having a physical cart too is kind of nice because then she doesn't have to. We don't have to buy 2 copies of it unless we want to play at the same time, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I've got to buy 2 copies of Pokemon. So- But let's see what else we got. Amy Henning confirmed she left EA and is starting a new studio. I thought
Way
this
back in,
was.
what, January or something?
That was kind of weird. I don't ever. They never really said anything about that I
Yeah,
remember.
they
I
didn't talk
mean,
about this at all. They just avoided
I
it.
think most people might have assumed, seeing as how she joined EA just for a project, pretty much. So when that went away, why would she stay unless they gave her another good project, right?
Yeah, well, that's true.
And they just don't make the kind of games that she likes to make. EA just doesn't want to make that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I guess we all
What's
just
that
kind of
studio?
assumed when they took that game away that maybe they were just going to do it with another studio. I don't know. Maybe.
well, they kind of did. They took that over, but then they're making it more world, so it's not really the same thing. But it has had
Yeah.
a little bit of the kind of like bones or something in there, but taking it in a new direction, supposedly.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out whenever the crap that gets done.
Yeah, really, if it ever gets done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool that she's going to make her own independent studio because I'm anxious to see what kind of games she comes out with. I was a big fan of the Uncharted games, so
It ain't gonna be like that. There's no way.
yeah. Oh, I know it won't
It
be.
won't have the budget or
No,
the time
no,
to be able to do that.
But I mean,
I
storytelling
believe she said
wise,
she was interested in VR stuff, and she's been doing some
Yeah.
research into that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, I'd rather see you do a single player, story driven.
I would
something.
too. I'm
But
not. I don't have
The
VR.
storytelling chops that she has in VR could be interesting to see what she would.
Well,
Yeah,
no.
but that would require really long play times in VR, and I just don't think we're there yet with VR to be able to do that
Well, maybe-
comfortably for most people.
Not necessarily that, but just more the detail of it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't be telling Uncharted in VR. It'd be something different.
Sure.
No, I could only imagine. Gosh, jeez.
Who knows?
Uncharted, yeah.
We'll find out in like 4 or 5 years whenever her independent studio finally gets a game done. Maybe.
Yeah, really. So the Halo TV series is actually a thing. At first it was
About
canceled.
time. They've
and-
only been
Sure.
talking about this for like 5 years now.
Well,
6
they
years?
they talked about it and they said no, we're not doing it. And now out of the blue, they're like, oh yeah, we do. We've ordered it, and now it's coming out in
they've done all the
2019.
different web series things over the years, and
Mhm.
most of them have been pretty decent for the low budget they had. So why not do a full budget thing?
Yeah,
I mean, they were going to do a movie at some point, and that died.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do
Well, yeah.
something, guys.
What was it? It was 5 years ago, and Spielberg was going to be doing stuff with it, and all this and that. And then it kind of their whole TV thing kind of went away when they kind of switched things with the Xbox One. That was going to be like a big thing
Yeah.
with the Xbox One, and then they kind of switched gears. So I guess maybe we all just assumed that they weren't going to do anything like that anymore. I don't know, but be interesting to see, where it ends up. If it's just going to be one of those TV shows that's only going to be available on Xbox, is it going to be on cable? Is it going to be on Sci-Fi? Is it going to be on Amazon? How are people going to be able to get it?
I thought it was Showtime.
Is it Showtime? I don't know. Did it say
Yeah, that's
Showtime?
what the IGN article says in the headline.
Well, it says according to Showtime.
Showtime.
Okay. I didn't even.
2019.
I saw 2019, but I didn't even see it say Showtime.
It even says it in the URL.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Read what you post, man.
Well, I thought. I guess I was thinking not the channel Showtime, but an actual Showtime maybe. I don't know. It was late when I did this.
Sure. There you go.
Leave me alone. So
You don't know what happens in your brain when it's late.
Yeah, really. So just speaking of don't know what happens in my brain when it's late, I dropped this one in here because I thought it was hilarious. If you own a physical copy of Shaq Fu, you could get the exclusive Barack Fu, The Adventures of Dirty Barry download, and you could play an entire game as Barack Obama.
All right.
A beat 'em up as Barack Obama. Yeah, because why not? So
this seems like somebody was like, "Hey, this is dumb." They're like drunk one night at the office, and they're like, "Oh, hey, wait, let's actually make this dumb thing."
Yeah. So it's only physical. It's only if you own the physical version. If you have the digital version, you can't get this. And I think the reason why is if you bought the the NBA Playgrounds basketball game or whatever it was, the same company that did Shaq Fu did that game, and if you bought the basketball game, you got Shaq Fu for free. So I'm guessing that must be why you have to have a physical card. That, and because the digital download of Shaq Fu is $20, the physical card is $40. I just thought I would check to see how much it was, because I told Nikki, I said, you know what? I would buy that for $20 just to play it because I bet it is hilarious. So yeah, if you're into that Shaq Fu beat 'em up game, and guess what? You could play as the Barack Obama version for free. So
there we go.
Why not? Wonder how long it'll take. I don't know. Barack seems to have a pretty good sense of humor about things, so I don't think he'd get it taken down anytime soon. But I could be wrong. Who knows? So the last story that I have, I saved it for last, and we kind of hinted on it a little bit. So anybody that played Fortnite on a PlayStation 4 and then tried to log in with their Epic account that was linked on their PlayStation account on the Switch, they could not do it. It's not allowed. So you had to start completely over again with everything.
See, the weird thing about this is I don't get how Sony can even do that. How can they block Epic's thing?
I don't
your
either.
Account, you're on a Switch. You're trying to sign into Epic's thing.
Well, this is
even if you log in elsewhere, how can they even
because
block that?
when you're purchasing something on the PlayStation version of the game, they get a cut of that currency that's spent.
Mm-hmm.
So they can say, we don't want people to be able to use something that they purchased to use in the PlayStation version of this game in a different version of it.
I guess it's just Sony saying that to Epic, and then Epic, whenever someone has logged in on PS4, there's a little flag on your account that makes it where it just doesn't work, I assume. It's not like you're on your Switch going to log into the PSN and say, please, Sony, let me play, and log into Epic. But that's what it kind of turned into.
Yeah. Well, this is what's weird about it is it's actually opened a whole can of worms with this crossplay thing. And what's funny about it is if it was stuff that you bought that was exclusive to PlayStation, I get that. I think that's where Epic might have made their mistake. Instead of giving companies a cut of it, host it in their own store, use their own currency, and, if you bought it, it would be on your quote-unquote Epic account, like it is. Or like it should be now. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. Well, I understand. It's just Sony saying we're the best-selling console in the world. We can do what we want.
There's cross-play and there's cross-progression.
Yeah.
Or cross-account or whatever. So the cross-account thing is what we're talking about here, and that's really dumb and annoying, and that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I don't care about cross-play. Give me my progression.
Why they wouldn't? Because Sony doesn't have to care about that. But for the account stuff, like, don't block that.
I mean, it's the same way in Destiny, right? That's a game on all of the consoles where there's no cross-account progression. You can't just log into your same character on the Xbox if you play on the PlayStation and vice versa.
Right.
It's just that this is the biggest game in the world right now.
Well, but there's
making people mad.
The big difference is, though, I can still log into any of my accounts on any system with Destiny.
And that, yeah.
That's the difference. You know, I can do that. But I tell you what, though, between.
But can't you for Fortnite have that? So, like, if you play on PC and then go to PS4.
Yes, you could do it on PC to PS4. It works fine.
So it's because it sort of works elsewhere that this roadblock here is why people are getting so upset. It's not that, okay, Destiny doesn't let you do it, and like other games haven't done it. It's that you can sort of do it here, but in these cases you can't. So I
mean, we know it's possible, right?
Other, right?
You got games like Final Fantasy XIV that have been doing it since ever. You know, that on the PS2 you could log into your Final Fantasy 11 account, then also play on the PC, and then you could play on the 360. And it's the same way now with 14. So I mean, we know that it's a possibility,
and it's
just working out that deal.
Well, it's also possible to do, you know, cross play and cross accounts, because I can play Minecraft on any system other than PlayStation 4.
Other than PlayStation, yeah.
And I can carry all my stuff. I can carry all my stuff. I can play all of it. Even on the Switch, I can unlock Xbox achievements playing Minecraft on the Switch and unlock them on my Xbox account.
I should do that.
Yeah, you should. But anyway, I mean, that's the thing. And it's got to the point where Nintendo and Microsoft have made commercials and advertisements bragging about cross-play, and everybody can play together, and you know, you're not locked out of your account, and you're not this and that.
I'm curious, like, I know Rocket League was another one that was kind of pushing this cross-play thing to the forefront.
They said it's ready. All they have to do is flip a switch.
Yep.
Well, even
and like there, I wonder if it's like the same now, where it's like, okay, if you're on PC, Xbox, and Switch, do those all talk to each other now and just leave the PlayStation out, or how that works?
I think so.
It started with PC and PlayStation, and then the others added later. So I was curious how that shook out, because I never looked into it.
I'm almost positive it is. I mean, don't 100% quote me on that, but I'm almost positive it is.
Because I know with that one, they had the little like thing in the settings you can flag just my platform, so you can only be Switch players against Switch players or etc. But I'm not sure where they'd landed on the crossplay thing.
What cracks me up is Sony's response to it. Says, we're hearing it, we're looking into a lot of possibilities. As you can imagine, the circumstances around that affect a lot more than just one game. I'm confident that we'll get a solution that everyone will be understood and accept by our gaming community, while at the same time supporting our business. I can't
accept, maybe not, but I think the rest of that makes sense, because they're not just going to do an exception for Fortnite. They want to do something that will be for everything moving forward, so they can have a policy, so they can point out and say, "Hey, this is what we do."
I tell you, the whole thing.
Not going to make everyone happy.
No. Well, my whole thing is
just immediately change it, because they're a big giant company. They can't just like take a quick left turn. It takes time.
I agree and I disagree, but. I don't run a big company, but here's my thing. The same thing happened last gen with Microsoft. And it was Microsoft was the best-selling console. And Sony was, hey, we'll do cross-play, we'll do this, we'll do that. We want to play with cross-play with 360 games, and then Microsoft said no. Now the tables have flipped. And Sony is in first place, and Microsoft is screaming, and everybody's like, "Oh, we all want to play together." And Microsoft and Nintendo and everybody go ahead. And Sony's like, "No, we don't need it." Of course, you don't need it. You've sold 80 million freaking consoles, or you don't need it. But
that's exactly why, like, they may talk about it, but it's definitely not top of the priority list. Whereas for the other ones, it's like, oh, we can get some goodwill, so
right?
It becomes more of a priority for them to do it.
Why? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, which is why it flip-flopped is...
Yeah. What I think this is doing is going to set a precedence on the next-gen consoles. Because if Microsoft comes out right off the bat and says, hey, we're going to offer cross-play between anybody, and Nintendo says, hey, we're going to offer cross-play on anybody with PC or anything, and Sony says, we're probably not going to. We're going to keep it. I mean, it kind of forces their hand, but it depends on how it goes. But if everybody else forces Sony's hand, Sony is going to have to back off of that. And I think we're reaching a point that we're going to see this. It doesn't matter what system you're on, you're going to be able to play with your friends, and I'm all for
some
it.
of this last gen with the 360 and PS3, but not nearly as much as now, because we have a lot more games now that can take advantage of it that are high profile.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, like you think, okay, what if I could play cross-play with Call of Duty? But there's plenty of people playing Call of Duty on each platform that doesn't really matter.
Right.
But for some of the stuff, if you have cross-play across all the different platforms, it will make the games last a lot longer.
Yep.
So hopefully we're pushing hard enough that by the time the next consoles come around, it'll just be like, sure, cross-play is a thing. We'll see, because they don't like to give up their pieces of the pie, right? They want to make all the money on their platform.
Well, and that's the thing. I think we're getting to a point where it doesn't matter. I mean, people are going to buy the game where they want to buy it.
Consumer standpoint, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I read a thing yesterday that said Bethesda would love to have cross-play on Xbox One, PS4, and for Fallout 76. The only thing that they said was standing in their way was Sony. Microsoft said, sure, we're all for it. Sony said, we'll think about it. I mean, it's like...
but that's what they've been doing this whole time. So
yep.
I think that it's maybe a little bit of a tidal wave building up.
And obviously we're not game developers.
But
we don't know what kind of technical hurdles there are when you actually get full cross-play in place.
I'm sure
their infrastructures are different.
Too.
Exactly, yeah. Xbox Live is still a more stable infrastructure than the PlayStation Network is, and if they start opening that up to play between them, is there going to be hiccups there? We just don't know.
Well, but the question is too, is a game like Fortnite, is Xbox Live just a gateway to another server that they run now? I mean, is it dedicated? Are they dedicatedly still playing on the Xbox servers? Some are, I'm sure, but is Fortnite? If you play Xbox or Fortnite on Xbox One, are you playing it on Xbox One servers, or are you just playing it going through Xbox Live service to connect to Epic servers where they're all playing together? I don't know.
I'm assuming that's more of the case where they still probably have these are dedicated to the Xbox. These are ones that are dedicated to each platform, but they're all owned and run by Epic.
I would think.
It'd be the same as thinking of, like, say, for Battlefield, you have servers for Xbox, servers for PC, servers for this, but they're all technically sort of like EA managed ones.
Well, I know that was the whole thing with EA because, when the original Xbox came out, it was a long time to get EA games online on Xbox because they did not want Microsoft to control the servers. They wanted to control the servers. Once Microsoft let that go, then you saw Madden 05 being able to be played online.
So I think in the cases of those games where it's a company that has their own servers, then I think having them talk to each other probably isn't, too difficult.
I wouldn't think
There's going to be a bunch of hurdles technically, I'm sure, but as far as just like, okay, we need to get these players talking to these players, it's, feasible.
Yeah.
It's when, if it's a, Microsoft exclusive game that Microsoft Studios makes, it's not going to ever be a crossplay thing. Same for like a Sony made game.
Right.
They're never going to do that. But for like third-party games, I think that if we could get all of them cross-play going forward, at least for the games that make sense, then that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
We just got to get the big companies to do that.
Yeah. Well, and, and it seems like right now, 2 of the 3 want to, but who knows? If nobody comes out of the gate when their new systems come out and say, yes, we're going to support cross-platform, somebody gets a little ahead, then they're going to button up and say, nope, we're not going to do cross-platform because we want everybody to buy that game on here. But, especially with Fortnite, this is a free-to-play game that, yes, it brings all the kids to the yard to play, but are they all coming to the PlayStation 4 to play it? Some are. Some are coming to PC. A lot of, probably more are coming to PC than
honestly,
on PlayStation
I spend
4.
more time on mobile and Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, you've got it anywhere that you want to play it. I mean, is
Fortnite's the special beast though? 'Cause it's gigantic.
Well, yeah, but is Sony really going to lose money by opening up, letting the people play their accounts wherever they want to play them and play between all these different consoles. Is Sony really going to, be out anything? I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
I mean, who knows?
They're really getting a negative effect here.
Yeah,
I will not be playing on my PlayStation because I can't, transfer between all the
and
different.
definitely because of this, for the few people who have not played it and might think, or they're playing it on like PC or something, like, oh, I might play it on my PS4. Now they're not gonna.
Yeah,
so they've heard all of this hullabaloo and they're like, oh no, I'm not gonna.
Well, there were some big names in the gaming industry. Greg Miller, for one.
Oh yeah, he
just and he is a Sony. You prick his finger, he
yeah.
bleeds Sony. And I mean, I saw him tweet in caps, "Sony, if you do not fix this, I will buy an Xbox One to play Fortnite on, and not play it on PlayStation 4." And for him to say something like that,
right?
yeah,
because they don't care about Nintendo, and for the most part, crossplay with Nintendo isn't going to be a thing because a lot of the games aren't going to be on the Switch.
right?
The few that are, it would be cool, but it's not going to be the big deciding factor. Whereas with Microsoft and Sony are much closer to each other.
Yeah,
they're going to button heads.
I don't know. It's just we're getting it's funny. It just seems like we've opened up a box of. I mean, the cross-play commercials are just hilarious. I don't know if you've seen them. It's just hilarious. It's just like one side's green and one side's red, and it's like they're holding hands, and it's just like the most hilarious thing in the world. And it's like, where's Sony at? Oh, they're not here, but we're here.
This reminds me a lot, to just a little bit lesser degree, of the Xbox's bungled launch, and then Sony doing we could trade games, and then making their silly commercials kind of like that.
Yep.
Similar. Just not quite to the same scale,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to take a big behemoth like Fortnite to push this through to where the next go around will be like, okay, this is our standard operating procedure for these types of games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, to say the least. I will never forget the E3 that the Sega Saturn was announced. Sega got up on stage and announced that the Sega Saturn was available today at every retailer's, and it was $499 or something like that. I think it was $500 when it came out.
I thought it was $3.
No,
it
it was
$3.99.
maybe $3.99, $3.99, $4.99, whatever it was. It was up there anyway.
Spendy.
I think it was maybe it was $3.99. I don't remember, but anyway. So then they stepped, and this was when EA was really weird, and everybody was in the same room. Sony and everybody was in the same room. Sega stepped down, and everybody went, "Ooh, we get to play the next gen console today." Sony got up to the podium. The guy for Sony got up to the podium, had papers there, folded them up, put them in his pocket, and went, "PlayStation $299," and turned around and walked away. That was all he said. And it was done. Saturn was done. And this whole thing with we're holding hands and we're all loving playing with each other. It's just great. It was exactly like it just feels that way. Like it was like, Sony's the big bad guy now, so we're all gonna poke sticks at him. I don't know. It's
poke them with the stick.
It's really, really weird. But I think I will be shocked if cross-play is not a big factor or a big selling point for whomever. When the next gen consoles come out, I'll be real surprised if it's not. Because I think.
Well, just imagine how different the landscape would be as if your Call of Duties or any big multiplayer game could talk to any other console. How different that would make selling those things. What choice of console you would get would change, maybe or maybe not. It'd just be all like way different than what we have now.
Yeah, I mean it would.
First parties would become more important than ever.
Yeah, and Microsoft would probably still get, because they just don't have a lot of Yeah,
well, I mean, they just bought a few guys.
Well, they did. They'll be ready for then. I mean, if we were talking today, if we were talking right this second, but. I don't know. I know a lot of people were very, 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 very upset. And they're still very, very, very upset about the Fortnite. And I get if it was a PlayStation 4 exclusive skin or something like this, I totally get that. I totally understand. But don't block people's accounts because of it. Just don't let them use that skin on another system if they don't want to. Big deal. I mean, I don't know.
The reason it's so big is because it's a huge popular game, and a lot of the kids are going to be wanting to play. Okay, I was playing it here. Oh, I want to play it on my Switch now. That's cool.
Yeah.
I played on my PlayStation for 5 minutes, and now I can't play it on my Switch. I'm angry now. I yell at the internet.
Yeah, pretty much. And that was another big YouTube thing too. Between that and my YouTube feeds during the day were between the Fortnite outrage and the GameStop hate. It was like I quit. I was like, well, I ain't got nothing to do to watch on
Sub to
YouTube.
different channels, man.
Oh, I don't sub to any channels. I just whatever.
Well, that's your problem.
Whatever the feed
Not
is.
the good channels.
I don't sub to any channels. I just whatever.
Don't trust the YouTube algorithms to pick for you.
It picks some weird
crazy.
ones every once in a while. It's like, really? Where did that one
man.
come from out of left field?
Here, we'll spin it around to positive gaming YouTube. Have you guys seen Retro Replay yet?
Retro Replay.
I don't think so.
It is a channel that Nolan North and Troy Baker started, where they play retro games and they just like get off on tangents for half of the episode where they're not even playing.
It
And they're
recommended
like,
me
I
the
remember when this and that.
Yeah, it recommended it to me. I
Watch
haven't
them.
watched it yet. It's
They
on my
are
watch
really
later
good.
list. It's
They've
on-
gotten better as they've gone on too. They've done a bunch of different stuff. I think the last one I saw that I watched was like Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
They did both the NES and the arcade version of Ninja Turtles. And they've done like Punch Out. They did I forget what system, but an old Spider-Man game, like all sorts of stuff.
It
But it's
recommended
just
those
really
videos
funny
to me.
because they just like bounce off of each other really well, and it's pretty funny videos to watch.
They're on my watch list. It recommended it to
do-
me the other day.
Yeah, them being voice actors in 8 billion video games, they're always doing funny voices and
I
stuff too.
can
So
only imagine.
watch them; they're
Yeah.
funny.
I'll have to watch them. So, anything else? Anything else we need to talk about before I talk about the giveaway, the Gleam giveaway? So for all those who are listening at home, I'm going to start a Gleam giveaway. I was going to start it tonight, but it's getting kind of late, so I'll probably start it tomorrow afternoon. Because I get tired of starting the Gleam contest late and then have them end at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I get up in the morning and they're like, "Oh, don't forget your contest is ended and you need to pick a bunch of people." It's like, "Oh, okay, next time I really need to do it at like 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 11 o'clock at night." But anyway, so like we said at the top of the show, $20 game currency of your choice. We've got a copy of Wild West Online. The guys who did Bus Simulator 18 sent me 2 codes to give away, so I have those. I've got tons of Steam codes.
Funniest stuff.
Yeah, there's tons and tons of stuff that we're going to be giving away.
So you're just putting all of this into a giant package and saying, "Here you go."
No, I think I'm going to bust it up into like 3 packages, 3 or 4 packages.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to be just
Quite a few,
one.
so I was
Yeah.
wondering what your plan
It's
was.
not going to be one big winner. I'm going to have at least 3, maybe 4 winners, depending on. I need to sit down and like piece
Divide
it
it
all
up a
out
bit,
and then go,
yeah.
okay, let's see. Let's see if we can do this and what this one is and what that one is, and go from there. So, but yeah, that'll be on. I'll at least have it ready for when the podcast goes live on the site tomorrow. And it'll be out, so follow us on Twitter. That's where you'll be able to know when it goes live, and it'll probably be, you'll probably have I'll at least do it for 2 weeks. I don't think I'll do it for a month like I usually do it for a month. A month is a long
Yeah, 2 weeks sounds
time.
good.
2 weeks is way better than a month, because what'll probably happen is if I let it go a month, I'm supposed to be working out of town for 2 weeks in upstate New York, so it'll happen while I'm gone, and then everybody's just going to have to wait till I get back. So,
Oh well.
oh, boo. So, but yeah, so just follow us on Twitter at GL_podcast, or if you subscribe to the RSS feed, hit the website, and you will find the post for the show, and that's where or the 150th episode, and that's where the Gleam contest will be posted at for you to sign up for. So there'll be
Enter and win.
there'll be all kinds of little entries to win. So, yep. So keep an eye out on that.